I'm Ankita Robin and welcome to SG Global News. From the story of the passing of a saintly mother of 5 from the Indian state of Kerala who battled cancer for 5 long years, endured 17 surgeries and numerous radiation and chemotherapy sessions before succumbing to her illness, to Oceania's largest Syro Malabar Youth Congress in early February, we have many stories to cover. Joicy Jaison, a devoted wife and mother of 5, was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer in 2020 at the height of the pandemic. Despite numerous recurrences, several surgeries, and multiple radiation and chemotherapy sessions, she never gave up. She used her illness to glorify God, and on February 3rd, she departed for her eternal reward. Joicy Jaison's life serves as a challenge to all to love Jesus with every ounce of their being.
The real history of humanity is comprised of the story of sanctity. It is a livable doctrine based upon the example given to us by Christ himself, who proclaims, "I am the life," and affirms that he has come to give this life and to give it in abundance. Pope St. John Paul II's words resonate deeply today, for the world has lost a saintly woman and heaven has gained a gentle, beautiful soul. Joicy Jaison, beloved wife of Jaison Paulus and mother of 5 children, departed for her heavenly reward after battling cancer for nearly 5 years. Having faithfully served the Lord throughout her earthly life, she embraced suffering with grace, offering it for the salvation of souls. A nurse by profession, Joicy met Jaison Paulus while working in Delhi. She was an active member of the Jesus Youth Movement and played a vital role in leading many into a deeper relationship with Christ. After their wedding, she moved to Abu Dhabi, where her husband resided. Their marriage was a true embodiment of Christian love, and in this sacred bond, God blessed them with 5 children. Determined to provide her children with a strong Catholic education, Joicy later moved to Kerala, believing it to be the most conducive environment for their faith formation. Her life revolved around Jesus and the Word of God, and she ensured that her children grew closer to Christ with each passing day. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, Joicy felt the Lord preparing her for something profound. A deep stirring in her soul made her sense that she would undergo a form of earthly purgation. Soon after, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. At the time, her eldest child was in 11th grade and her youngest was only 3. Yet, the family embraced their suffering with faith, surrendering to God's will. Joicy faced her illness with joy and courage, uniting her pain with the cross and offering everything for the salvation of souls. Splitting her time between Abu Dhabi and Kerala, she balanced her medical treatment with her children's education. For a brief period, the cancer went into remission, but within 3 months, it returned aggressively, spreading to various parts of her body, including her brain and legs. She endured 17 surgeries, including mastectomy, thyroidectomy, and lobectomy, along with countless cycles of radiation and chemotherapy. For most, such suffering would have been unimaginable. Many would have questioned God, drowned in despair and resentment, but not Joicy. She received everything as a gift from the Lord. Despite excruciating pain, she attended daily Mass. Her husband Jaison ensured that she could receive the Eucharist. When she expressed a desire to live closer to a church, they sought the Lord's will together. Through a strong inspiration, they found an apartment near a church, allowing her to adore Jesus to her heart's content. Through her suffering, Joicy's love for Christ deepened. Inspired by His grace, she started a YouTube channel where she shared Bible reflections, stories of saints, and at times her own testimony. Her unwavering faith sanctified her family and drew thousands into a deeper communion with God. But in recent months, her YouTube channel had fallen silent and her Facebook wall bore no new posts. Joicy had entered the most difficult stage of her trial. Her beloved family surrounded her, offering her courage. Or perhaps it was the other way around. Though she knew her time was short, she loved life fiercely. She cherished those around her deeply, but above all, she loved the Lord with an unshakable devotion. Her soul could no longer remain apart from her divine love, and neither could the Lord wait any longer. On February 3rd, 2025, He called her home, and she went. Her funeral will be held at St. Anthony's Church, Varakara, in the Indian state of Kerala. This is the history of Joicy, a story of sanctity, and it does not end here. Now, united with her divine love, she will continue her prayers from heaven, an eternal story of sanctity and love.
The United States Agency for International Development closed its headquarters to staff on Monday amid moves by Elon Musk to seize control. Around 600 staff were locked out of agency systems overnight. The Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk in cooperation with the Trump administration, has expressed its desire to completely shut down this department, calling it a criminal organization beyond repair.
On Monday, the staff of United States Agency for International Development were asked to stay out of the agency's headquarters in Washington. Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy, USAID is an independent agency that promotes global development, humanitarian efforts, and democratic governance. The U.S. government has imposed a 90-day pause on all U.S. foreign development assistance programs. This was aimed to conduct a comprehensive review of their effectiveness and alignment with national interest. This situation further elevated as two USAID security officials, John Voorhees and his deputy, Brian McGill, were placed on leave as they refused to grant access to classified materials to inspection teams from the Department of Government Efficiency as they lacked necessary clearance to access sensitive intelligence reports. The Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, was formed in cooperation with Trump's government, expressed its disinterest for USAID. Musk claimed that USAID is a criminal organization. The Department of Government Efficiency is designed to streamline government operations with a focus on firing federal workers, cutting programs, and slashing regulations. The USAID staff said 600 employees reported being locked out of the agency's computer systems overnight. Those still in the system received emails in the agency system saying that at the direction of agency leadership, the headquarter building will be closed to agency personnel on Monday, February 3rd. As the developments come in, Musk stated that he had spoken with Trump about the 6-decade U.S. Aid and Development Agency and he agreed we should shut it down.
Pope Francis met with world leaders to discuss children's rights at the Children's Rights Summit hosted by the Holy See at the Vatican. The two-day summit focuses on children's right to resources, education, food, healthcare, family and free time, and the right to live free from violence.
Vatican hosts a two-day summit where Pope Francis will meet leaders across the globe to discuss the rights of children, including the smallest and most defenseless children, the unborn. The pontiff welcomed the summit titled "Love Them and Protect Them" with a reflection on many ways children are oppressed today. Multitudes of children living through war, poverty as undocumented migrants, and without access to adequate food, education, and healthcare. While addressing the international leaders, Pope Francis highlighted how children are harmed through abortion, promoted by a throwaway culture of waste and profit in which everything is bought and sold without respect or care for life, especially when that life is small and defenseless. Speaking in the Vatican's Clementine Hall, the Pope also drew attention to his concern that young people themselves, a sign of hope, are struggling to find hope in today's world. Summit speakers include Queen Rania Al Abdullah of Jordan, former US Vice President Al Gore, FIFA President Gianni Infantino, President of the International Olympic Committee Thomas Bach, former Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi, and author and Holocaust survivor Edith Bruck. Pope Francis met with a group of children from various countries who gave him a letter saying, "Together with you, we want to cleanse the world of bad things, color it with friendship and respect, and help you build a beautiful future for everyone."
After meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, El Salvador President Nayib Bukele accepted America's request to house their violent criminals and deportees in Salvadorian jails. The agreement comes as law enforcement agencies like ICE and Homeland Security conduct their fiercest crackdown yet on illegal immigrants.
El Salvador has announced its decision to house criminals of any nationality who have been deported from the U.S. as part of the latest crackdown on illegal immigrants. The unexpected decision came after multiple meetings between El Salvador and President Nayib Bukele and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held at the Presidential Palace in San Salvador. Rubio, on his first official tour since assuming office, announced that both countries had agreed to an unprecedented and extraordinary migration agreement. In a press release following the meeting, he outlined the extradition plan, which primarily involves housing violent criminals deported from the U.S. in Salvadoran prisons. Bukele, known for his no-holds-barred approach to crime, has been credited with significantly reducing gang activity that has plagued the country for nearly 2 decades. Once considered one of the most violent countries in the world, El Salvador saw a dramatic 98% drop in its murder rate in 2024 compared to 2015 statistics. Although Bukele's methods have been widely praised both domestically and internationally, Catholic bishops have raised concerns over the inhuman treatment of jail criminals once they are captured by law enforcement.
The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops has expressed its support for the Educational Choice for Children Act. Bishop David M. O'Connell, chairman of the USCCB Committee on Catholic Education, emphasized the bishop's support for this legislation, which would allow families greater access to schools of their choice and expand scholarship opportunities for students.
The United States bishops have endorsed the Educational Choice for Children Act, which would provide families with access to the school of their choice and give students opportunities for scholarships through individual or corporate philanthropy. In a letter dated January 30th, Bishop David M. O'Connell, chairman of the USCCB Committee on Catholic Education, thanked Senator Bill Cassidy and Representative Adrian Smith for introducing their respective bills and expressed the bishop's support for the legislature. Bishop O'Connell stated that the Catholic Church taught that parents were the first and primary teachers of their children and therefore had the right to select the best educational environment for them. He noted that parental rights in education have been U.S. law since 1925 and that the Educational Choice for Children Act would protect this right by empowering parents with the financial resources they need to select the school that aligned with their values and worked best for their children. Bishop O'Connell lamented that 37 state constitutions still had Blaine amendments that prohibited public funding of religious schools. He highlighted the plight of millions of children across the country who had no access to school choice. The bishop concluded his letter by expressing gratitude for the senators' and representatives' work on legislation that would benefit American education and better serve children.
The 2008 Kandhamal massacre was a gruesome and horrific attack in the Indian state of Odisha, where approximately 100 Christians were killed and more than 50,000 were displaced. Vatican Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Leopoldo Girelli recently visited the massacre site, conveying Pope Francis's prayers and blessings. He also expressed the Holy Father's desire to be with the affected community. Archbishop Girelli prayed before the memorial of the 35 martyrs of Kandhamal, whose beatification process was initiated by the Vatican in 2023.
Vatican's Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Leopoldo Girelli visits the 2028 massacre site in Kandhamal district of Orissa in India. Although the Archbishop was not on an official visit, his arrival to the site holds significance. The Nuncio was in Bhubaneswar, capital of Orissa, on January 31st to attend the opening of 36th Plenary Assembly of the Conference of Catholic Bishops of India. In 2008, Kandhamal witnessed their worst nightmare come true. The Christian minorities were attacked in a series of riots led by radical Hindus. Around 100 people died, thousands injured, 300 churches and 6,000 homes were destroyed, and 50,000 people displaced. Many were forced to hide in nearby forests and were died of hunger and snake bites. The mobs initiated the riots, outraged by a rumor that Christians had killed a local Hindu holy man. Later, it emerged that the holy man had actually been assassinated by Maoist guerrillas in the area. While talking with the people, Girelli said that he is very happy to visit them and they have become examples for millions of Christians how to persevere in suffering, representing the images of first Christian community. The Archbishop thanked the community for their kind welcome and conveyed the greetings and blessings of Pope Francis as he represented the Holy Father. The Nuncio also visited the Memorial of Martyrs at Tianjia, a Catholic village that saw martyrdom of 7 Christians during the 2008 violence, and Nandagiri, a village of 82 families who were displaced from their original village during the violence. After paying homage to the victims, Girelli said that Kandhamal is a village of peace, harmony, faith and love.
In the latest series of oppressive measures against Nicaragua's Catholic Church, the Nicaraguan government has forced around 30 Poor Clare nuns to abandon their convents in Managua and Chinandega. This action follows a recent decision by a group of Descalced Carmelite friars to cease their ministry's operations, reportedly due to pressure from the law enforcement agencies.
The Nicaraguan government has forced 2 more religious orders to leave the country. According to the pillar, around 30 Poor Clare nuns were forced to abandon their convents in Managua and Chinandega on January 27th, following the order of Daniel Ortega. The nuns, mostly Nicaraguans, were only allowed to take some of their belongings when they left. After 50 years of ministry, Descalced Carmelite friars announced on January 23rd that they would be leaving the country. Although a lack of vocations was cited as the reason by the province, local outlets indicated that pressure from the Nicaraguan government led to the decision. In October 2024, the regime informed superiors of all religious congregations that residency permits of all foreign priests and nuns would not be renewed. Under a new law enacted in March 2022, the Nicaraguan regime expelled many congregations from the country, including the Franciscan Franciscans, Jesuits, missionaries of the Sacred Heart, and a female Trappist community. Persecution against the Catholic Church in Nicaragua began during the 2018-2019 protests against the Ortega regime. Since then, several Catholic TV and radio stations, Catholic universities, and Catholic foundations have been shut down, besides exiling over 250 clergy and religious, including 4 bishops.
The Syro-Malabar Catholic Eparchy of Melbourne, along with its youth apostolate, is preparing for the largest Syro-Malabar youth gathering in Oceania. The Syro-Malabar youth of Australia, New Zealand and Oceania will gather at Melbourne for 4 days from 6th to 9th February to revive their faith, reclaim their cultural heritage and renew their love for Jesus.
Young adults of the Syro-Malabar Eparchy of St. Thomas the Apostle, Melbourne will gather at the Belgrave Heights Convention Centre for Unite 2025, the largest Syro-Malabar youth gathering in Oceania. The Syro-Malabar Catholic Eparchy of Melbourne, which encompasses Australia, New Zealand and Oceania, has been actively working to revitalise the faith of its young members. Unite 2025 is a response to the Eparchy's commitment to ensuring that its youth remain steadfast in the Catholic faith, deepen their love for Jesus Christ, and equip themselves to proclaim the gospel to the ends of the earth. Following the success of the previous Unite conference in 2022, the Syro-Malabar Catholic Eparchy of Melbourne has high hopes for Unite 2025, which will revolve around the theme Pilgrims of Hope. This year, the Eparchy expects over 600 participants between the ages of 18 and 30. Scheduled from February 6th to 9th, the conference will feature sessions by renowned speakers from various vocations, plenary discussions, and workshops. However, at the heart of this 4-day event will be the Holy Qurbana and Eucharistic adoration. Attendees will also be invited to pray the Liturgy of the Hours, the prayer of Christ with his body, the Church, which is considered the second most important form of prayer after the Eucharist. Under the spiritual leadership and prayerful guidance of Bishop Jaison CMI, the Eparchial Bishop of the Syro-Malabar Catholic Eparchy of Melbourne, and through the tireless efforts of the Youth Apostolic team led by Sojan Sebastian and Alan Christie, Unite 2025 is shaping up to be a transformative experience for Syro-Malabar youth across Australia, New Zealand and Oceania. The conference will commence with an opening address by Bishop Jaison CMI. Archbishop Peter Comensoli of the Archdiocese of Melbourne will deliver the first keynote address. Throughout the event, sessions will be led by Matt and Cameron Fratt, a Catholic couple known for their work as speakers and podcast hosts, Sharbel Raish, a Catholic author and speaker, and Joe Hayes, a Catholic evangelist and journalist. Additionally, Colonel Mikola Baichuk of the Eparchy of St. Peter and Paul of Melbourne for Ukrainian Catholics in Australia, New Zealand and Oceania will address the attendees. The conference will also feature workshops led by Australian Minister Jaison Anto Charles, Indian film actor Sijoy Varghese, Catholic commentator Brendan Malone, Chaldean Catholic priest Father Mahir J. Murad, and Director of Youth Apostolate of Chicago Eparchy, Father Melvin Mangalathar. These sessions will provide practical insights on living the Christian faith in an increasingly immoral and hostile world. The Eparchy hopes that Unite 2025 will not only be a conference but a movement inspiring the next generation of Syro-Malabar youth to stand firm in their faith, embrace their unique calling, and transform the world with the message of hope and faith. Through this gathering, youth Catholics will be equipped to carry forward the message of Christ with conviction and passion.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.